some trash stuff going on just now, guys. We had to re-record this thing because Mr. JK over there is overthinking about his own lecture. So yeah, JK, you can take over now.
The goal of this lecture is to how to stop overthinking and why you can trust us. Same shit. We give you everything away. We give everything. We don't hold back and we only sell the personalization. If you're interested, click the first link in the description below and we'll talk about it again at the end.
Yep.
So this is what we're going to cover. In the description below, you see a table of contents we can skip around if you need to. So why do we overthink? We overthink because a perceived threat has caught our attention. Something out there is going to harm us either psychologically, physically, or whatever. For example, a guy is sneaking out on you from the back and you're wondering what the fuck's going on. And you're wondering if he has a knife or a gun or if he's trying to attack you or attack someone else. And so you start to overthink because it's very important. And obviously this is very important because this is your life, what? And maybe you might have your wife beside your family and you'll be like, what the fuck's going on? And this is something very important for you. You think of every possible outcome. Does he have a gang? Is he trying to attack me? Is he trying to steal my wife or whatever? Any of this. You think of it and there's no solution towards it because you're not really sure what's actually going on. And that's why it's stuck in your head.
Hold
So
on.
welcome to
Hold on, boys. Go back to the previous slide. I'll give like a more realistic example. So let's say this is a very common overthinking example. Let's say you're like a student, right? You are doing this final exam. So this literally applies for literally everything. A perceived threat has caught your attention. You're constantly thinking, oh, what if I fail? It's a threat, right? And it's something very important because your parents are going to beat your ass, or this is like a final exam that's going to be accepted to university. And that's a more realistic example of overthinking, is because you've seen a perceived threat that's going to really just fuck up your future, your current moment, your relationship, your family, anything. And it's important to you. That's why you overthink, right? If it's something like small, like you dropped a coin at the train station or whatever, it's not going to bother you. Whereas when you see it's something that's like as huge as, not getting accepted into college, your parents are gonna beat you up, or anything that's gonna really just attack you, you will really just see it as overthinking. And that's when overthinking really happens. But yeah,
Let
continue. I
me
think
get a
that's a
more
more better
more
example.
realistic example.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Ebola framework. So this is how you remember it by thinking Ebola. So the EOA framework is to just externalize your thoughts, organize your perspective, and set what you can do. So for externalizing your thoughts, the goal here is to just vomit your thoughts outside your head. Because right now, as Jamie said, when you overthink, a lot of the shit is just in your head right now. You haven't really thought of a solution. You don't really know what's going on. And you're just looping it again and again, and you're not really doing anything about it. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to extract that into an external form, an external thing where you can just look at things more objectively. Because right now, a lot of things are very subjective. You're basically stuck in a tunnel where there's no light in the tunnel. So what you're trying to do is trying to get out of the tunnel and see the light. So the best thing you can do to externalize your thoughts is to talk to someone. This is the reason why so many people want a therapist. There's so many people want a counseling because they don't actually have someone to talk to. And they basically want to talk to someone that will not judge them. Because this is why journaling is the second thing. Is because when you're journaling, you're not gonna judge yourself. You're gonna be open about it. You're gonna be honest. You're just gonna write down everything and just be like, "Yep, this is what happened. This is the real objective shit. This is reality. This is why I'm like this or whatever crap." But if you don't have a therapist or any of that, talk to someone. If you can't talk to someone that you trust that will not judge you and think that you're weird or any of this stuff and give you all this weird ass, eyebrow raising shit, just journal. And I'm not going to talk much about it because it's already elaborated a lot in the purpose lecture, which will be somewhere in the description below, perhaps. You can go check that
Go
out.
check that
Jamie.
out right now, because I actually talked a lot about journaling, and journaling is extremely important because if you journal and you don't be honest, you try to like what Junta used to do in the past, try to like tinker around with history, try to change what really is, those historians, the effect of journaling will disappear. Literally, I promise you that. And the general rule of thumb is if you're proud of showing anyone your journal, you're not doing it right. You're not doing
Mhm.
it raw enough. So that's the rule of thumb for you to really just keep in mind when you're journaling. You want to be as honest, as raw as possible. If you think about some really nasty thoughts and you want to still write about it, fucking put it down. Honestly, trust me, you'll feel as if a weight just falls off your shoulder. And like what Junta mentioned earlier, that loop inside of your head, like the fucking mouse, the cat chasing the mouse in your fucking head, all of them is gonna be on the fucking paper. That's the point of externalizing your thoughts, which is to just get rid of that fucking loop inside of your brain, right? But yeah, just continue.
And then the next thing is organize your perspective. This is extremely important. I think a lot of people only vomit, but then they don't actually do shit about it. I mean, I see this a lot when I'm in my high school. They always, I mean, there's a teacher, my math teacher always came to the classmates and she's always complaining. She's like, this, that, that. And she doesn't do shit about it. And I'm always thinking about it in my head. Obviously, during the time at the club, and I was talking to her about it, like, look, she's fucking complaining about it every day, but she's not fucking doing anything about it. Nothing's gonna change. She's gonna be suffering the same shit again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So the goal here is to turn that vomit that you've already done, or you can say to turn the complaint into a structured format where you can basically address them logically and lead to concrete action. So you're actually gonna do something about it. So that when you journal, because if you journal only and you don't do shit about it, the loop is still gonna happen because you haven't solved shit. For example, like Jamie's example, you journaled about, I don't know, about your maths exam. Okay, well, that's a different thing. That's for acceptance already, but I'll talk about it in a moment. So the first thing you can do is you question what you can do about it to solve it right now and forget about what you cannot do about it. And then you break it down and you write down the actionable steps to solve the problem. So let me show you an example. So this is what I mean by externalizing your thoughts. This is the vomit. This is to put it into an external form. This for me, it was a demotivation problem. And this is the vomit. And then this is where I question what I can do about it to solve it right now. I broke it down. I wrote down the actionable steps to solve the problem. Simple. So the next thing is delegating the solution of thinking to another time. Now, this is what me and Jamie uses every single day. Extremely potent. So listen up. First thing, get a simple task management tool or A5 notebook. I would highly recommend TickTick because this is what me and Jamie uses every single day. And it's extremely useful because it's very easy and it's very easy to use and to write. So the point here is to just make it very easy for you to use or write on the PC and the phone. You write down any of your worries, unresolved issues, blah, 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 into this inbox at any time of the day. And the most important is every single day, you must set either a fixed or a random time to clear this inbox daily. And what random time means is what we call doom inboxing. This is where you check like every 2 hours or some shit. Very useful. So the last thing that you must do is obviously accept what you can do about it. So after writing about what you can do about it right now, all that's left is for you to just accept the worst case scenario and move on. And I think this is something that Tim Ferriss talked about in 4 Hour Week and is actually really useful. So the goal here is to just acknowledge the reality of the situation, even if you don't like it, and just accept what you can control and what you cannot. So now, the common questions that you might have. What if I have to address it right now? For example, you have to get a school project done in 1 week and you're on the train right now. You're trying to brainstorm possible solutions on how you can remove all your distractions and go all in on this school project and finish it in 1 week. So the first thing you can do, you just write down additional information, blah, 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 brainstorm inside the inbox itself. For example, you can see this is the project. This is the brainstorm possible solution, blah, blah. And then you summarize all the next actions so you can start working on it once you can. So this is the next action. So once you go home, you can already start going to the new room, creating a checklist, muting all notification, blah, 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 blah. So I can't sleep at night because I always overthink like crazy in the bed. So this is something that I suffered for many years. I was always overthinking. I wouldn't say overthinking, but more like overexcited in my bed. And I always was visualizing about the future and like, whoa, Japan, let's go, boys. And the solution, I noticed, journaling didn't work for me because I found out that my thoughts were faster than my hand. Because when I'm writing, my thoughts are thinking way faster. It was like a Ferrari, but my hand is like a Honda. So the solution to that is voice journaling. The reason you overthink is, as I said, you have way too much thoughts in your head right now, and journaling is just not gonna, it's just not gonna be able to externalize those thoughts fast enough. And that's why it didn't work, even though I journaled for like 30 minutes to an hour, still didn't work. So the solution is to voice journal. It's basically like talking to someone, but you're talking to yourself. So it's like a form of journaling, but you're using your own voice, which is very useful when you overthink a lot. So you can go to your bed. Once your head hits the pillow, your head actually hits the pillow and you're knocked out because you will notice for the first time, go to your bed and you actually have no thoughts. You're like, oh, what the fuck? This is actually how I felt the first time. Even though it feels so goofy to be talking to yourself in a dark room, talking to yourself like an idiot. It's weird, but it really works. So the last thing I believe, what if I can't solve it right now? For example, your GCSE results are coming in a week and you're worried if you did well or not. I think this is a situation Jamie went through 1 year ago.
But it's
And
not really with the gaming controller and stick,
I
because
mean,
that's
obviously not.
not. But then,
For
yeah,
him was a different stake.
yeah.
But so you got three options then. First thing is you can just delegate it to a future time. You can just, if it's coming in a week, you can just delegate it to remind you 6 days later. And 50-50, you might actually not think about it anymore because you're like, well, it's gonna remind me 6 days later anyway. So you're kind of like delegating it to someone else, a personal assistant, which is tick tick, which is your inbox, I mean. So right now, what you can do about it, and you can just, like what Marcus Aurelius says, shut your mouth. Because what you can do is you can prepare for your next college already. You can start studying for it, and of course, hide your controller in case your parents throw it. And the last thing, obviously, again, is to again accept the worst case scenario. Just imagine that you failed all your exams, your parents are gonna fuck you up, and you can accept that this might happen. So when it does happen, when the King Kong starts coming up, you will be fine, because you're like, yep, I already expected to hear King Kong coming up. He's gonna beat me up. Yep, no problem. I already hit the gaming controller inside the lock already. We're fine. So, finally, quick CTA. Click the first link in the description below right now to get access to our beta tester playbooks where we guide you step by step on how to become the greatest of all time in anything fast. See you guys in the next video.
See you,
Next lecture.
boys. Yeah, see you guys.